Before we start talking about the best vehicles here on Why We're Single, I would like to point out that yes, I am now wearing the first of 3 My Little Pony shirts. This shouldn't be a strange thing to you all, but what is strange is how well I fit this, yeah! Anyways, we're talking about vehicles. One of my favorite vehicles is from Halo, and it's the Warthog. More specifically, Halo 3. Halo 3, I think, had the best drift mechanics. It was the maneuverability in this vehicle was so good. Like, you can get around tight corners easily. I was able to drift precisely and effectively. Like, I didn't need to jump in the gun. Like, I didn't need the kills. If I had 5 kills, I didn't care as long as I had like 25 wheelman kills and with like 5 splatters. That was how I did Halo multiplayer. It's just like, I'm driving around, just honking the horn, waiting for someone to jump in, and it's like, all right, let's do this. I didn't need any of that. Nah, don't need that. Just let me drive around. It's fun, and it's got the little teeth like a little warthog, or it could be like a puma. Red versus blue.
Joven mentioned the Warthog, and if you're going to talk about the Warthog, you should talk about the Warthog. I'm talking about Warthog from Twisted Metal. Obviously, that is way cooler than the Warthog from Halo, which just has a little gun on the back. Warthog shot out missiles and ice blasts, and he made this cool noise whenever he shot the missiles. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. However, I do want to talk about another car from Twisted Metal, which is Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth's ice cream truck is one of the best vehicles in video game history. Maybe not as much early on, but as soon as Twisted Metal Black came out and it morphed into the giant mech car that shot out rockets, that's when it became pretty much the best vehicle ever. You think it's just a nice, innocent ice cream truck is driving around and it's like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, playing this ice cream truck music, and it's like, oh, f you, giant robot with missiles all of a sudden. Use your special and you just blow people up. It's the greatest vehicle ever.
Favorite vehicles. Does anyone remember Metal Warriors for the Super Nintendo? I think I've talked about this game once or twice before. The Spider Mech in Metal Warriors was awesome. They used to have this 2-player versus mode where you would be in one mech and your opponent would be in another mech, and you kind of go around and try and destroy each other. And the Spider Mech was awesome because it could fire this web and trap other mechs, and they just have to like float there while you shot at them. And then its head would like hover above its body, and it would go and like peck at people and kill them. And then it could go invisible, which, well, that was kind of useless because when you were playing multiplayer, it was split screen, so they could just look at your screen and see where you were. But the other powers it had were awesome, and I really liked playing it. Oh, and it could walk around up on the walls, and man, it was awesome. It was awesome. Bring that game back. Reboot that game. Metal Warriors, Super Nintendo.
And then one of the other greatest vehicles of all time, I'm going to take it back a little bit to a classic game called Mech Warrior. Now, you've probably maybe played the new ones, but I don't really know. I didn't keep up with what kinds of mechs there are, but there's one in the older ones called the Timberwolf. And it was just this like 2-legged mech, and instead of arms, it just had giant rocket pods. It's like 12 rocket pods on each side. So really, it's just a walking rocket shooting machine. In case you don't see the theme here, I just like vehicles that shoot rockets.
Next for me, one of my favorite vehicles actually growing up was the Karibo shoe. Karibo shoe from Super Mario Bros. 3. There was one level later on in the game where you could like hit a Goomba out of it, and then all of a sudden you can jump in the boot and then ride along the Jew. Ride around on the Jew. You can't ride so inky. But what made the boot so special was that no one else, like, you couldn't just like go over to like Toad and like get it out of a chest. Like, this was just in this one level, this one section, and it was yours, and you can like jump on the spiny guys, you can jump even higher. Those little claptrap plant things that were like a real bitch if you landed on them. Like, you just whoop, walked right over them, no problem. It was rewarding, and it was cool, and it was effective. Also, fun fact I just heard from Cliff, our editor, is he told me that the Karibo, or Karibu, anyways, that's how you say Goomba in Japanese. And so they just never changed it. So you're like, why, that just looks like a normal Goomba. Because that's a Caribou, Karubu, Boo Boo, Shoe Boo, Das Boot, Das Mario Boot.
And then sticking with the mech theme, I really like the Mantis from the new Halo 4. It's awesome. It just got that stomp where you could just step on people. If you watch the Game Bang, I got to step on Mario. That was awesome. It's just a really satisfying feeling. And then it can blow shit up, and it's got the gun and the like gauze cannon. I don't even know what it's called. It's pretty awesome, and it really feels like you're a big badass in the mech. And then the fear you feel when someone shoots that green plasma bolt at you and shuts your mech down, and you try and eject and get out of there before they blow you up. It's just a great addition. It's a great vehicle. I think probably the most fun vehicle in Halo. I mean, the Scorpion tank is fun. Warthog, yeah, that's a lot of fun, but the mech I really like.
And then one of the most formidable vehicles of all time. It's from Battlefield 3, and you think I'm gonna say that like the tank or one of the jets or maybe one of the anti-aircraft guns? No, it was the forklift. Yes, you get in the forklift and you're kind of driving around in the forklift. It's like, oh, don't mind me, I'm just in a forklift. And everyone's kind of like driving around in their tanks, shooting shells at people. But you're just driving around in your forklift, no one's really expecting you to happen. And then all of a sudden, boom, you run someone over with the forklift and you've instantly won the game. I mean, you got a moral victory at least. Maybe you probably didn't win the game if that's what you were trying to do the whole time. Except if you attach C4 to the front of the forklift and then you run into someone and then you blow it up. That's pretty much the greatest thing ever. So to recap, things with rockets and forklifts, I guess. I don't know, that's pretty dumb.
Then how about the Gears of War Brumac from that franchise, when you get to hop on and take over him? Is that in 2? I think it's in 2 you get to do that. You hop on, you take over, you control him, and you like fight corpses and it's awesome. I always wanted to see a Brumac fight a Corpser, and the guys over at Epic, they're like, people probably want to see this. We should probably have them hijack a Brumac and have him fight a Corpser. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see them fight and try and kill each other. That's awesome. So good work on that vehicle, guys. I really like that. Hopefully there'll be some even sicker stuff in the new Gears of War Judgment game when it comes out. Can't wait for that one.
The most beautiful, most epic vehicle in all of video game history is the Normandy from Mass Effect. Now, not only, like, this is the best sci-fi vehicle, like, TIE Fighter, nah, not even close. X-Wing, nah, not even close. R-Wing, not even close. You got nothing on the Normandy. Millennium Falcon, you got no light on the Normandy. Like, this vehicle, more specifically the SR2 versus the SR1. The SR1 was just strictly military built, wasn't that comfortable, it was just guns and it could fly. Like, that was the purpose of it. Still a cool ship, but with the SR2, when Cerberus built it, it was for luxury, because you're up in space for as long as you are. You have to be comfortable while you're saving the planets. You got this nice bedroom, you can have the fish tanks, that's pretty awesome. And like, it was like you want to live on the Normandy, even if that meant that you would be probably going to die in the whole end of the world scenario. But it didn't matter, because it was just awesome. And like, it wasn't just looks. Like, this thing had upgradable weapons, cannons, shields. The maneuverability on this thing was amazing. Like, you didn't stand a chance against this. With Joker piloting, yeah, that is the best vehicle ever. And just like that moment in Mass Effect 2 when like Joker comes up and he's like, oh, here's the new surprise. And like the lights come on and the music starts, it's showing the SR2, you're like, that's my ship. It's still alive. Because when it blows up in the beginning of Mass Effect 2, that hurt my heart. And then I got it back. I fell in love with it. In fact, I actually spent $200 on this this little maquette of the SR2. $200 on this ship. And that's why I'm single, because I ain't got no money after that. You need money for the honeys. No money. No honey.